Hello, guys, welcome to another episode of Forgotten Vehicles. This one is a special one. Back then in 2013, if you had these three cars, or well, two cars on a bike, you were part of an exclusive club. And you probably had the most expensive version of GTA 5 back then in 2013. We're talking about the collector's edition cars. Those cars were basically exclusive for the owners of this version that had a lot of goodies, physical and in-game, and a lot of perks too. But these cars are the focus of attention of this episode. So with this out of the way, let's start. The Chameleon, the Hot Knife, and the Carbon Arrest. Those were only unique special cars for the owners of the collector's edition. They have an exclusive touch out of them. So with this, let's start with the Hijack Chameleon. The Chameleon is based on a Fisker Karma, a really obscure hybrid car from the end of the 2000s. But this car also is heavily promoted in the game as a powered B12 hybrid. Like, how cool that is. Basically, it's implementing solar power to be a hybrid B12. But with this huge advertisement, let's back to the reality. The Chameleon was pretty average at best. It wasn't the best car out there. Even when it was a hybrid, it just had 450 horsepower advertised in the game, but the handling was pretty meh. It's not a great performance a performer in the sports class even back then in 2013. Is really is not unstable, but it's really heavy. But at the same time, because it's a hybrid, it has a really good traction. But again, the handling is really heavy, and it has a lot of wheel spin. So that's why this car is also a must not get if you gotta drive this in a wet road, because the car is really the handling it gets hampered on this situation. So you get spin outs due to the wheel spins, to the wheel spin behavior of this car. So back then the car was a nice little exclusive car, but it wasn't that great in terms of performance. The customization was pretty rich back then in 2013. You have a lot of you can change the exhaust tips, the hoods, the roofs, spoilers, suspension, and all that. It doesn't sound too much, but again, we are talking about 2013 standards, and back then that was like really good customization. And and with that, like, for me, this is one of the most beautiful cars in the game. The Chameleon looks fantastic. It's a car that when you see it in any angle, looks great, especially in its stock form, because it looks really low. It looks fast, and but at the same time elegant. And for me, it's one of those cars that are really timeless in this game. Sadly, this car got forgotten due to a reason that I'm gonna explain later: the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version. So let's continue with our second car, the Vapid Hot Knife, based on a 1935 Ford Model A, converted into a hot rod. The Hot Knife is a pretty legendary name too. Is basically the name of the hot rod of GTA San Andreas that you can get with cheat codes or in Las Venturas. So this car was basically also a really exclusive car back then. This car, in terms of performance, was really bad. It is really heavy. The handling is really bad. It has a lot of wheel spin, and the car is as usual in 2013, by a muscle car era, doesn't have any brakes at all. The car takes a long time to brake to 100 to 0. So that's pretty much when it comes to the hot knife. And last but not least, the first bike of Forgotten Vehicles, one of my favorite bikes in the game, the Carbon RS, based on a Ducati 1199 and an EBR 1190 RS. This bike has its name because the whole bodywork is made of carbon fiber. It's really average on the terms of performance. It doesn't like it's really good on its handling, and the grip is actually really good. The top speed is really average. That's why this was never a contender against the body A01, because it has a really average top speed. This bike also doesn't have too much customization, to say absolutely nothing. That's pretty much when it comes to these three vehicles. These vehicles again suffered from they were really exclusive. They made you part of a club. You can get them without getting the collector's edition, but you needed someone with a mod menu, or someone that actually knows how to kind of duplicate these vehicles so you can get one back then. But these vehicles got forgotten thanks to the first batch of updates. Like, there were better bikes and better cars that came out that looked better, that performed better, and that actually made the better job than these three vehicles. And also, they lost its exclusiveness thanks to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. Like, when these versions came out, Rockstar decided to just make them for free to everyone. Like, you can get one in story mode if you want to, and also, yeah, that's pretty much when it comes to these vehicles. That's pretty much it for this episode of Forgotten Vehicles. Let me know, what do you think about these three little things: the hot knife, the chameleon, and the carbon arrest. I want to know your opinions about it, especially about the chameleon. For me, it's one of the most beautiful and timeless vehicles of the game. But all of the other two vehicles as well. Episode 6 will come back to normal. That I will post the four vehicles that you suggested in the comments, and you will pick up what is the next vehicle of for Forgotten Vehicles. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.